guys, Dr. Christy Ennis. Welcome to Follow Me Friday. You're going to grab your mat or stay right in your bed, and we're going to get our backs to feel a lot better today. So starting in that hands and knees position, you're going to take a breath in, arch the spine, lift the head, gently squeeze the shoulder blades, and then exhale, round and tuck. So all you have to do right now is listen to your body and how far you're moving, and just follow along with how many I'm doing. So you don't even need to count. If at any time you need to take a break, you definitely do you, and make sure that you do that. We're gonna do one more in that other direction. Coming back to that neutral spine, I'm gonna bring my knees together. I'm gonna sit my butt back, and I'm gonna bring my arms straight out in front of me. And I'm just gonna hold this here for about 3 breaths. If this is uncomfortable, you can always place a towel in between here or even in between your knees. These two are my favorite. Good. You're gonna come back up into that hands and knees position. I'm gonna go a little bit wider. I'm gonna take one arm and I'm gonna scoop it underneath as I drop that left shoulder as best as you can. Ooh, I just got a little snap, crackle, pop in my upper spine. And then you're gonna take that arm and you're gonna lift it up towards the ceiling or as high as you can, letting that head follow. Again, of course, as long as it feels okay to do so. Following your body's cues on how much to move, right? Some movement is always better than no movement, so it is totally okay if you are moving less or more than I am. If you want to add a little bit more and get a little bit more leg in there, right? Our hips are always part of our back. You can bring that leg out, and we're doing that same thing. So kind of drop down and you're really stretching in through that inner thigh, and then open it back up. You can play around too with that foot position if it's more comfortable that way. We're just going to get 2 like this though. And then of course, switching sides. So back to that hands and knees position. My right hand's gonna come under. I'm gonna dip that shoulder, so it's okay if you're twisting, right? Today we are working on movement, not on stability as much. You can always think about your abs if you want to, but let's get yourselves moving here today. And you'll notice I definitely don't rotate as well to that side as to the other one. I've got my own things going on too, right? We're gonna get one more under and open. And then same idea, I'm gonna bring that leg out to the side, opposite leg. I'm gonna come up and through. You may not get quite as much range of motion here just because of the position of the hip. I'm coming back to that hands and knees. We're gonna go into that cat-cow again, but we're going to add a little bit to it. So you're gonna take a breath in, lift the head, tuck that tailbone or arch that spine, and then you're gonna round, and when you're in that rounding position, you're gonna actually shift those hips one way and then shift them the other way. You got shifty hips today. We're a little looser, so our bodies probably, hopefully, knock on wood, will move a little bit more in all of these positions. That's why we're adding that now. One more. See if you can get a little bit further. That was really squeaky, sorry. It wasn't meant to be. Okay, we're going back into that child's pose, but again, we're adding on here a little bit. So I'm gonna bring my hands right over to the left, place my right hand on top of that left hand, and I'm actually gonna take my butt and shift it over to the right side. Same idea as before, where we're just gonna hold for a couple breaths. And then we're doing the same thing over to the other side. So left hand's gonna go on top of the right. I'm gonna bring my left butt off the legs there. And again, it's okay if that's too much, you just stay kind of more in the center. You don't need to go over quite as far. Good. Okay, we're gonna go all the way onto our bellies. You'll obviously notice that there's definitely some yoga involved here, a little bit of Pilates too. It's always good to combine a lot of different things. So you are going to come right onto those forearms, let your pelvis sink heavily down into your mat or into the bed. and you're gonna hang here. If this is too much, you can place a pillow underneath your hips. That's okay to do too. Also, really, 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 really listen to your body here. If you know that it doesn't feel good to bend backwards, don't go into this position, right? Just like if it doesn't feel good to go forward, don't be flexing that spine forward. So from here, I'm just gonna get one more breath. Really try to let those shoulders sink down too. I'm gonna come back up onto hands and knees just to get myself out of that position. And we're gonna do just one little cat-cow to kind of reverse that direction a little bit. That's the way that my spine always has the most difficulty moving, but it actually needs it. And we're gonna go into one little seated stretch here. So you're gonna take this leg, and if it's tolerable for you, you're gonna cross it over the opposite leg. If not, you just hold it right here. Even if that means that it's a little bit further out, that's okay. If you can, you're gonna cross it. I'm gonna grab onto it with my right arm. My left arm is gonna go behind my back. I'm sitting up nice and tall, turning the spine, and my head is the last thing to follow. So again, we're sitting here breathing. Focusing on your breath versus counting actually lets you relax into the stretch a little bit more. Remember, if that's too much, it's okay if you even just start here, right? Wherever you feel a position of comfort. And then we're gonna switch sides. Same concept, I'm gonna cross over. I'm gonna grab onto that leg. My right hand comes behind. I'm sitting up nice and tall and then turning. And sometimes it doesn't feel good to turn either, right? It might feel better to just stay straight. So this is stretching out the hip. You're stretching, or more, moving the spine a little bit. Try to activate that straight leg so that you're pressing it down towards the ground. And then you're gonna come on back and we're gonna end with a couple on our backs. So make your way down there carefully. I'm gonna grab behind one thigh, and then I'm gonna straighten this leg as much as I can, which is today just about here. If you can get straighter than that, you go for it. Clearly my hamstrings are tight. Hamstrings, again, definitely play a role in what's going on in the back, which is why we're here. You can add some ankle movement to it. You can kind of come back and forth. If that feels good, sometimes that helps you get a little bit more motion. And then we're gonna switch it. I'm gonna grab onto that other leg. If it's too much to actually grab onto the leg itself, you can grab a strap or a towel and help lift that leg up towards you, just to make it a little easier on yourself. Again, you can circle that ankle if it feels good. If not, don't. Right? I'm gonna bring my legs back down towards the ground. I'm straightening my legs out. I'm gonna bring this knee up towards my chest. I'm grabbing towards the outside and I'm pulling it across the chest. If that feels okay, you can actually get a little bit more into the spine too and bring it over as far as you can. You may have to stop here. Nothing wrong with that. If it feels good, you can bring the opposite arm out to the side. You can even turn your head. Remember though, this is about feeling good. So if your spine or your back muscles go, oh, I don't want to be there, don't force it to be there, right? Go with what feels good. And then we're gonna switch and do the same thing on the other side. And just like me, you may have one side that moves a little bit more than the other. So again, kind of bringing that knee up, grab on the outside, bring it over across. I have a little bit more motion on this side. I'm adding that little twist too. And I'm gonna add that head movement in just to get that whole, oops, as I collapse over that whole portion. And then we're gonna end by bringing those knees into your chest as long as that, again, feels okay on your body, right? This is still flexing the spine, even with bringing your hips up. And we're just gonna give a little rock and let it breathe, let it sink. Awesome job, guys.